Welcome to Conspiracy in Real Time, the greatest show on earth. I am your THC medicated and totally unregulated host, Joshua Stonecutter. You are under mind control. There, I said it. All right, I'm going to start off with something funny today. It's Christmas. It's break. Everybody's on break, right? Everybody's on a holiday. Okay, Christmas. If you run into any lizard people, right? I have a few tips for you. All right, because it's just a little list of do's and don'ts for if you do run into any shape-shifting lizard people over over the holidays. All right, here we go. Let me go ahead and start. Because if you run into them, you want to know what you should or shouldn't do. Okay, this is a do. Do give them a firm hug. Like put both arms around them. They really like a firm hug. Do not touch their throat sacs. They do not touch their throat sacs. They don't like that. That's a do not. Do not touch their throat sacs. This is a do offer them a cricket. Offer them a cricket. Do not leave your children around them. Okay, that's a serious one. Okay, don't leave your children around them. And finally, do compliment their youthful appearance, preferably their skin. I definitely really like to always compliment them on their skin. So again, do give them a firm hug. Do not touch their throat sacs. Do offer them a cricket. Do not leave children around them. And do compliment their skin. All right, let's go ahead and get into it here. All right, this is the topic that we're going to talk about today. That's not the topic. Where's the topic? This is the topic that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about portals and UFOs. And I added something else in there. Steeples. Church steeples. We're going to talk about church steeples. I disapprove. Let me go over the hand signals real quick. You'll see these on street corners. You'll see this whenever they enter a restaurant and they want to be seated and they want the good seat, right? They do this number right here, like this. And then there's this one here. And then the one that I love the most, the sign of disapproval. I get this one all the time. We disapprove of him. I disapprove. All right, so I've, just recently finally figured out something that probably people have been wondering about for years and years. Why do churches have these really tall steeples? You know what I mean? It's multi-purpose, and if you watch my show, you know that I tell people and tell you guys all the time that the SS and the NWO is all about their multi-purpose. It's like that movie, The Fifth Element, which says multi-pass. It's like that multi-purpose. The steeples in the churches, I believe, were there to hide pulley systems. I lived in a church recently, and I saw evidence of what could have been a pulley system that started in the front. It's hard to explain, but it basically started. Let me see if I can draw it real quick. It started in the front and then went up over the church and then down through the back. So this is the entrance to the church. Up here's the steeple, but then there's a big square up above it that goes the length up above the church, and then there's another big square up on the back side of the church, and all this is inside and going up above the church. And I think if you want to know the church I'm talking about, I think the address is 617 or 619, something like that, Northeast 1st Street in Gainesville, Florida. Just look up the Actors Warehouse, the Gainesville Actors Warehouse or something like that. They were at a church for a while. And those same people were the same people that messed with me when I was staying in the church, were the actual actors. It's crazy. But anyways, I saw evidence there for a few different things. I saw, first off, that dude had recording equipment, like a mixing board that was on way 3 stories up in the attic, right? And he also had a couple empty boxes for high, very, very high sensitive Shure microphones, high quality Shure microphones, the brand name Shure microphones. So I assume that mixing board that was blinking up in the attic is probably connected to those microphones that I found the boxes for but couldn't find the microphones for, because they're always listening to everybody. They're always spying on everybody. that church that I stayed at with the steeple, with the, there was no pulley systems or anything like that set up. And, but that was one of the first experiences that I had where I thought there's something going on underneath the ground. And let me tell you why. On the side of the church, and it's probably still there right now, there was a tent with an air conditioning unit, right? It was one of those like standalone air conditioning units you can wheel around on wheels. Like I used to use them whenever I grew indoor marijuana, right? It's one of those with the exhaust vent sticking out of the tent so the hot air is blowing out, but the thing is like, I believe, shooting cold air down into the ground. And there's like a tent. This dude supposedly lived in the tent, but it was always dead quiet. And like, I don't think he lived in that tent. I think that the tent was like access to go down underneath the ground. And I'm pretty sure they had a microphone directly underneath my bed. I think that's what it was. I think they had a microphone underneath where I slept because all wooden floors and stuff. Because when I did some things like loud noises on the floor right there, people like flipped out in the other side. I did stuff that would have been very intrusive if you had headphones on and you were listening and there was a microphone underneath my bed. I don't really know how else to put it. That's what I did. And they acted as somebody would have acted in that situation. Anyways, I'm getting distracted talking about that. That was just this weird psyop, like Freemason owned church that I stayed in Gainesville when I went back there. Oh, by the way, my father directed me towards that church too. He directed me towards staying there. Looks like a good place to stay. And I thought it was. I set up a tent inside this big old church. I was like, this is a good sign I'm in a church. And I also thought this could be a horrible sign. This could all be a setup. And it was. It was all set up. So I think that the steeples were there for multi-purpose to get you, first off, to get you looking up, right? And what would they tell their believers, right? You know what I'm saying? Us idiot Christians, because that's what they call us. You know what I'm saying? They're useful idiots, right? What would us idiot Christians be told? Probably that it's to bring glory to God and we're reaching up to the heavens or something like that. It's really to get you looking up. And if you look at all the TV shows that they have, all the movies that, like, I'm serious, you guys, it doesn't matter what TV show, it doesn't matter what movie, like, you got to keep in mind, you guys, I am not a flat earth person. I'm not a flat earther. You'll never call me a flat earther. I think the flat earth thing is a psyop to distract people who actually start to get onto something. Because there's some unexplainable things about the earth, although I don't think it's flat. Excuse me, I don't believe it's flat, but like there's some unexplainable things like being able to take a picture of the Chicago skyline from the Michigan shoreline. That shouldn't be possible with the curvature of the earth being what they say it is. Period. It shouldn't be physically possible, and yet it can happen. Anyways, okay, so steeples, portals, UFOs. Let me tell you something else, and let's switch topics a little bit. Now we're going to talk about actual UFO sightings and stuff, right? I did not believe, and I never really thought much about, I guess I had thought about it, but I don't believe in stuff until I see strong evidence for it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you tell me that somebody punched you in the face, I'm going to look at your face. I'm not just going, do you see what I'm saying? I want to see something. Like, I'm not saying I want to, maybe that was a bad example, but like, it's like Ronald Reagan says, trust but verify, right? So I'm not just going to go off on every willy-nilly conspiracy theory. My show isn't about conspiracy theories, it's about facts. Now let me tell you about a fact that has to do with weather manipulation. There is a spot that I keep seeing UFOs off the coast of Florida, and every night it is fogged out or clouded out. Every night. It's disturbing. It's disturbing. And even when it's not straight fogged out, there is still some kind of mist or fog that comes down the beach. Like, I don't know where it's coming from, right? It just seems to almost materialize. It almost just appears. But every single night, this same huge, it's probably about the area I'm thinking of is probably about 15 to 30 square miles or so, which is a really big area, right? But like every single night, it's all clouded, all fogged out. You can't see, and that's where I'm seeing the strange lights and stuff. I disapprove. I disapprove of weather manipulation. Maybe I'm starting to wonder if it's all weather manipulation. Like if all she seems saying like if all of the storms and all the cold fronts. Like I don't know. I have no idea. But I do wonder on a daily and almost hourly basis what we would be like as people and what our society would be like if we didn't have all this effery going on, all this skullduggery happening everywhere. Look, when I was a kid, I dug up something in my backyard that was connected to our house and underneath the ground, and my mom like freaked out about it, and they did something to make me forget about it. I don't know what they did, but I didn't really think much about it. Right? Didn't really think anything about it at all. But this thing with Travis Scott happened. Right? The thing with Travis Scott happened. And it was all about these portals, the portals. And I don't think that the people died there. I think they were anesthetized there, and then they were taken somewhere else to be processed. You know what I mean? To be like sacrificed or whatever. That's what I believe. But you know, who knows what the truth is? But the fact of the matter is, I kept focusing on these portals, the portals. What do the portals mean? What do the portals mean? And then I'm working in this part of Florida, and I'm seeing these shops, right? And it's like on a street. And it's a shop where maybe 5 or 6 people can go in or out of. And these people keep streaming out of these shops, but nobody's going in. Just the numbers don't add up. Do you see what I'm saying? And these people are not from Florida. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But like, it's obvious that a lot of these people are coming in from other countries through these underground portals into these cities. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes. These people are coming out of like a candy shop or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A gift shop of some kind. And they don't know where their sunglasses are. The sunlight's getting to them. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it looks like they're walking out of a movie theater. Do you know how you are when you walk out of a movie theater? And think about the way people act and the way people look when they get up out of the subway in New York City and it's a bright sunny day and they've been down in that subway for like an hour. They don't know where their sunglasses are, right? They have to look for them. Where are my sunglasses? Oh, here they are. Let's put my sunglasses on for the day. That's what I'm seeing. But here's the thing. Let me go over all the stuff that I'm seeing. I'm seeing the sunglasses thing, which is just a dead giveaway. These people are like, they don't even know where their sunglasses are, and it takes them like 5 minutes to find them and take them out of their purse or whatever. Now, it's a bright sunny day. You just walked into these shops 2 minutes ago, and then you just came out, but you don't know where your sunglasses are, and where's everybody's sunglasses, and look how bright and sunny it is. That's one of the things. The other thing I'm seeing is people like experiencing the sunshine and the fresh air and being like, I'm out in the fresh air and sunshine, it's so beautiful out here. Now, why would you be doing that? You were just out in the fresh air and the sunshine like 2 minutes ago. Why are you do you do this every time you walk outside? Do you go inside and then come out and, oh yes, I'm out in the sunshine. Oh, it's so much fun. Now, let me tell you something else that I'm seeing. This just happened the other day. This woman comes up. This is 4 women, right? And they've just come out of one of these areas that I'm like 99% sure is a portal. And they're walking around looking at this place because they've never seen it before. And the woman's like, I don't think we're in this town, the name of the town. And I'm like, what in the world? Who on earth would take all this time to vacation to come here and drive here and then get it? I mean, it takes like a half hour to park just to drive a car into the city and park in the city. And then you get out of your car and you're walking around and you went into a shop and you come out of a shop and all of a sudden you don't know. I think I'm in a different city. Or I don't think we're in the city that you said that we're supposed to be in. What? These are the conversations that I'm hearing, you guys. Not to mention people coming out. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, the sunshine. Oh, where are my sunglasses? Oh yeah, let's get the sunglasses on. Let's get the. It's so okay. It took me a little while to figure it out. And I wasn't trying to figure it out. You guys have to understand, I was not trying to figure this out. I couldn't figure out why I was getting signatures on, because I collect signatures on petitions, right, from registered voters and just residents of Florida, right? I couldn't figure out why my steady flow of Floridians all of a sudden changed to like Colombians, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Canadians. I'm going from like 78, 80% Floridians. And it's like somebody snaps their finger or a bell rings somewhere, right? And it literally is a bell ringing, by the way. I am, and the elites or the 3-letter agencies who are watching me and are watching all my data and know where I'm going and know the city I'm talking about, they have to be a little bit worried, because at this point, even they know that they're realizing that, oh, Joshua Stonecutter actually knows what he's talking about. What are we going to do? I have found a spot in this city where I believe these ships are coming in underneath the water. And the evidence for it that I'm seeing is the water like doing things that water doesn't do in a calm bay area. I have a paddleboard. You know what I just did today, you guys? Because it's a super calm glass, the ocean is like glass today, you guys. I took my paddleboard like a mile out. I mean, literally, I took it so far out, I couldn't even see the people on the beach anymore. And I was like, oh crap, turned around and came back. My point is this, is that I grew up in Florida. I'm very familiar with water and the way it flows. I worked at the University of Florida for the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences for 5 years. I worked for their News and Media Relations Department. I was out on boats all the time. I was actually getting my scuba diving license, but I got sick with like mono and couldn't get it. But like I was on the water a lot. I'm still on the water a lot. I spent about 2 hours on the water today. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm seeing like the water like do like weird unexplainable things, and it's right in line with where I know one of these underground portal locations are at. Also, if you follow this in line out to the ocean, it's in approximately the same area that I'm seeing get all fogged out and smoky or cloudy every night to where you can't really see what's happening out there. And it's the same thing every night. And it's the same thing every time I go and work in this town too, with the changing of the flow, the people going from all Floridians to like no Floridians. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And for like you guys, I was having the hardest time working because this is what I thought. I thought that I was being messed with. And you can see why. Because my signatures are going like, I'm going from like 78% Floridians down to like 35% Floridians. And it's happening over the span of about 5 minutes. It's like somebody flipped the switch. That was what I was like. There's something going on. And then the whole Travis Scott thing. Do you see? And then everything with my parents as well, and the thing that I discovered outside of my house growing up. Look, man. And if you're watching my shows, what I believe I've discovered is that the PED stuff or the portal stuff, you can tell by the construction out front, I believe. Do you see those two posts and the little, and just, that's all it is. That's my childhood home. By the way, the Google car won't drive down my childhood road. It's Northwest 63rd Avenue in Gainesville, Florida. And my woods connected to the woods that Devil's Millhopper sinkhole is in. If you go back through the woods. It's just two posts and a little triangle. It's subtle. It's subtle like Satan. And the two posts stand for Boaz and Jackass. Boaz and Jackass. Those are like the people they give, I don't know. So, Boaz, Beelzebub, something like that. So anyways, like, I asked my parents about that stuff for like the last year or two. Oh no, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know. We wouldn't know anything about that. We don't know anything about that occult stuff. Blah blah. You guys, look at the tail of my dog. Look at that. Look at that. That was even. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. That's the tail. That is the tail of my dog that I grew up with, Strider. I wonder why that. I mean, is somebody out there breeding dogs with their tails like that, or did they do that to his tail? I think they may have done that to its tail, you guys. I'm serious. I think they did that to its tail, like bound it up or something messed up like that. That's why I have a feeling. But I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, you'll see these two posts in the triangle out front of like Baptist churches a lot and all sorts of stuff. Now, I think okay, so the way this works is centered back in there somewhere is a little room that they call the holiest of holies. And you need to do your own research on what the holiest of holies was in King Solomon's temple and all this stuff. But this is the messed up part, you guys, is that these people are constructing these homes like knowing that people are going to be like doing the R word to little kids in which room? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're constructing this house. This is your holiest of holies room right here. And it's always going to be a windowless closet. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's usually like near like the furnace or the fireplace, behind the fireplace, something like that. Now, I don't know if this is a symbol or a cover for the PED stuff or if it's a portal. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, but a sheriff or the FBI or whoever, they know. When they walk up to a house, all they have to do is just look at it and they can tell what's going on inside of there, more or less, just from looking at the front of it. And I had this theory. I've had this theory, you guys, for about two or 3 years now, that the police can look at the front of a home and know basically who lives there. And it's true without knowing anything. Like, if I drove by this house today, I mean, this is my childhood home, but when I drive by houses like this today, I look at them and say, oh, okay, that's a PED house or a portal house. I don't know. I'll be the first to say, I don't know. Like, I'm just going off the stuff that I have found, all right? The things that I have physically dug up underneath the earth. And by the way, there are one of these things going up into a church. I found one. I dug it up. I can't say which one, of course, because I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't know how deep this thing goes, because I actually hit water, you guys. This thing goes deeper than like the mud water line in Florida or whatever. Okay? Those are the portals. Those are the underground portals. Considering the fact that they're not telling us about what's going on underneath us, and when I say underneath us, I mean like this is happening underneath my feet right now as I'm talking. There's like, I think it's a whole city underneath there. I believe it is, you guys. I think once you get the right access or down there in front of, I think it's a whole nother world, man. And it raises some serious questions about NASA and like if we are even going to space. What is down there? What is down there? Talk about disclosure. We need disclosure, all right. You have to understand, like, if you're just tuning in, that I grew up at the University of I was born at the University of Florida. Everybody in my life was connected to the University of Florida. So whatever this is, whatever's going on, is connected with the University of Florida. My theory is that they were testing out giving people viruses and giving people sicknesses using mosquitoes. And the reason I think that is because a number of the like Illuminati type elders that won't speak to me anymore, they were doing, one of them in particular, with whose last name was Fox, F-O-C-K-S. Interesting, right? All these last names for my church are bad now that I'm thinking about it. We got Fox spelled F-O-C-K-S, so it's Fox. It's pronounced Fox, right? Then we have Boaz, B-O-W-E-S. That's another last name. We got Fox, Boaz. We got Lucius, which Lucius Trust is a company. Lucius Trust used to be called Lucifer's Trust. Lucius is another name for Lucius. So these are the people that I grew up with, you guys. Okay, we got Lucius. We got Lynch, Lucius, Boaz, Wickham, Rushing, Vanderbilt, Vandergren, that was it, Vandergren, Parker, and Butler. Of course, there was a Butler there. And the Butler name keeps coming up for me because I used to be taken to Butler Beach as a kid. There's a connection to the stuff that I'm talking about right now in Butler Beach. All right, if something happens to me and you want to go poking around for this stuff on your own, that's where you want to start. Don Danville Road, Butler, near Butler Beach, Florida. You know what I'm saying? That's a good place to start poking around. So this is an idea that I had. Like, I'm wondering if they are scamming these rich people and these elites with what I call the UFO scam, right? And this is how the UFO scam works. You basically like meet up with some rich people like down in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? You sell them on the idea that the earth is going to crap, or you sell them on the idea that there is some horrible plague, or maybe a horrible virus coming, right? Because think about how many people actually really believe that the virus, the one I can't name, is quite bad, when in fact it's not bad at all, right? It's just a cult. But like, so you scare the hell out of these elites, but you also tell them, look, we have access to spaceships. And then you show them the spaceship. You even let them fly around in one. If you like know what you're doing and you got like all the AI set right, you can probably take them down into the middle of the earth to another, like if there are levels. Do you see what I'm saying? And like they think they're on another planet, possibly. I don't know. Or you take them down underneath the water. Yeah, I don't know. But like, it would be so easy, you guys. And I think this might be why YouTube took my other video down, because they're probably doing this. This is probably what Scientology is. I don't know. Because I have no idea. But like, once you actually get somebody to believe that you're in contact with extraterrestrials and you can get them on their, do you see what I'm saying? Yo, man, if they think they're going off planet to another planet, then they're going to sign over everything to you, like their homes, like even their children, literally at times, literally even their children, right? So like, and then all you do is you put them on the spaceship or an airplane to go to the spaceship, and then you just have them land wherever, and they land at a meat processing factory, and they walk in single file into a big processing factory, and they process them just like you would cattle. Maybe that's why YouTube took my video down, because that's probably one of the things that's happening. Straight up, that's probably one of the things that's happening. Is they're like, oh yeah, no, COVID is bad and people are dying. You know what I mean? But we have a way off. We have a ship. There's a ship. I was just watching that Netflix, that new Netflix movie, which is like really, really disturbing. And I mentioned Boaz and Jackass, right? At the climax of that movie, the villain of the movie, he's like, and then we will walk through a new dawn of age through the pillars of Boaz and Jackass. And I was like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, they really do think about it, think like that and talk like that. Look, you guys, this stuff is old. This stuff is old. All of this stuff is super. Oh, my phone my Twitch just shut off. I don't care about that. All this stuff is super, super old, you guys. All this stuff started a long, long time ago. And they want to act like, they want to say new age, new renaissance. No, like there is nothing new about this. There is nothing new about the Boaz and the Jackass thing. That is, in fact, old as dirt. That's one of the things that the guy whose name starts with the J came along and said, hey, you guys don't need to be doing all this stuff. And that's why, from what I can tell, all the blood sacrifices and stuff like that, I think, and this is another theory, but I think going back in time, especially when you talk about the ones at the pyramids and the Aztec ones, I think those were to feed something underneath the earth or to somehow keep somebody alive. Like, oh yeah, we need to sacrifice all these bodies to the sun god. And they do, right? They sacrifice the body, the head rolls down the steps, and the people cheer, and then they extract some, or maybe they extracted it from the head before they rolled it down. Maybe it's something that's in the base of the spine or in the chest. I don't know where it is, but I have a feeling they have a way to like take your very essence, basically. And I think that it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. And they think it has to do with, sacrifice and mystical powers. All that stuff is fake, man. All of it. Witchcraft is totally fake. If you have the good Lord in you, you will not be affected by witchcraft. I can say that much for sure. You will be affected by like cheap poisonings. Do you see what I'm saying? And like if somebody like cuts your brake lines, yeah, you're susceptible to that. I'm susceptible to that. If somebody slips X-Lax in my coffee, I'm susceptible to that. By the way, I can't eat at restaurants at all. I can't go out to eat. Nothing. I get messed with everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And it's because, I believe, because of my family. I think they've basically turned like 7 or 8 different SS, meaning secret societies. I think they've turned like 7 or 8 different SS against me. Or maybe it's just that I have actual Satan's army targeting me, which is like, I believe what it literally is. I think it is literally an army of people who pledge allegiance to some creature. I call it creature. Who pledge allegiance to creature. The creature. Some weird golem looking thing down underneath the earth. Has anybody ever thought about like seeing if it bleeds? Has anybody ever thought about that? Seeing if these things that are down in the middle of the earth that are calling the shots and telling us what to do, man, they might just be really, really old people. And it's very possible. They might just be really old people. They might not have any superpowers other than the technology that they possess. That would go right along with everything else, quite frankly. Like, oh no, you just start looking real funky once you're like 2,000 years old, been living off blood that whole time. You start getting, you know what I'm saying? You start looking real different. I don't know. Maybe there's some huge Jabba the Hutt creature down there. You know? You just never know. And I don't know. But I do know that there is stuff going on underneath the ground. And you can drive around in any coastal community in Florida and you'll see big, huge rocks that people put out front of their houses with holes drilled through them. Those are portal houses, you guys. I don't really know how else to tell you. What else to tell you? I've seen, and I'll post it on my show soon, I've seen pieces of concrete and pieces of rock outside people's houses near where I live, right? It's about like a half mile from me. And they're like really, they're not the holes that the people have in the rocks. These look like the size of like, you know, a big laundry basket or way bigger than that. Like big, you know, the size of, I'm trying to think, like about the size of a car windshield, except round. Do you see what I'm saying? Like really big round. Looks like they have really big drilling machines now. That's what I'm saying. But like this stuff is absolutely going on in the neighborhood that I live in. I don't want to like, obviously I'm not going to say what neighborhood I live in, and I'm not going to like dox or mess with my neighbors at all because I don't want that back on me. But like, I'm telling you, they're going down, these portal things are, it's underneath some of these churches. That's where they are. That's where some of them are. And a lot of them are going into homes and businesses and stuff like that too. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Once you know the truth, it's so plain to see. It's so easy to see. If you don't believe me, then come on down to Florida, link up with me, and I will show you. I'll show you myself. I don't really know how else to put it. I'll show you myself. Yeah. So this is what I think you guys are probably wondering, like, what can you do, if anything, about this? Like, okay, so you figured out that your neighbor across the street or your uncle or whoever lives in one of these houses that may or may not have a portal in it. Well, I would start maybe in a different direction than people you know. What I would start doing is start prank calling pastors, secretaries at churches, and I would start prank calling real estate agents, you guys. I mean, real estate agents really put themselves out there. You know what I'm saying? They put their names on everything, their faces on everything. So, like, I would really like to have a conversation with some of them and record it and, like, play it on the internet to watch these people fumble and bumble around when, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think I have one, too, because there's this piece of property. It's about a mile from my house, right? But it's right on the beach. And it's a piece of property with no house on it. Okay, and it's selling for about this price that a piece of property with the house would sell for. It's selling for like, he wanted like $170,000 for an empty lot. Now it is 2 blocks from the beach, but like, dude, it's an empty lot. Like, it just seemed, the price he was asking seemed utterly insane. And then after I got off the phone with him, I was like, wait a second. Is he asking all that money because it's sitting on top of a potential portal access location? I don't know. Probably. Yeah. But yeah, so like, or check this out. Have you ever seen those signs that say call before you dig, right? Call them. This is a great one. Okay. Set some lawn chairs up across from like a church where like, where one of these things are, or maybe go dig some of it up to where you can just at least tell that it's there. You know what I mean? Maybe go down 2 or 3 feet. You know what I'm saying? Have an adventure. Then put it all back the way it was, or maybe leave it dug up, and then set up some chairs across the street, and then, call the number that's like, call before you dig. Always call before you dig. You don't want to hit a gas line or an electric line or whatever, which we shouldn't have any electric lines running under the ground. But anyways, so yeah, call before you dig, right? Call the call before you dig people. Be like, yo, man, I know I'm supposed to call before I dig, but I didn't, and it looks like there's a concrete structure underneath my house or underneath my church, and I don't know how far down it goes. And what do you guys know about this stuff? And just see what happens. Do you see what I'm saying? See what happens. Have some fun with it. There's no reason not to have fun with this stuff. You know what I mean? And I've had to get myself to a point mentally where I could both enjoy my life and not feel like murdering myself or like a member or people I knew. You know what I'm saying? I had to get to a point where because like, I'm going to talk about this stuff. Like, nobody's told me not to. Nobody's come along and said, hey, Josh, don't talk about this stuff. Don't mention this stuff. So maybe that's the whole purpose of me. You know what I mean? My initials are Jaw, J-A-W. Maybe that's the purpose of me. Maybe that's what I was designed to do. Just talk. Talk about everything I see. I don't know. But, I've had to get to a point because this stuff was like really, really negatively affecting me. And I had to get to a point where I could both enjoy my life and be happy as a person and also address these things. And I realized I had to completely sober up to do it. I wasn't using regularly, right, at all, but I kept relapsing. Like, I would use like every 2 weeks and it didn't really matter, but I would keep relapsing. I wasn't steady using, but I kept relapsing because this stuff would get so heavy. And the friends and family I was going to for just moral support were like straight effing with me. It got very overwhelming. And then realizing that my own parents were involved, then realizing that my parents were like Mossad agents. I mean, you guys, they spent 4 years in Israel. Okay? They spent 4 years in Israel. And they both gave me totally different reasons as to why they went. All right, I'm going to close it out. I could do a 3-hour show every day where I just ramble on about this stuff. I'm going to go over the tracks of the day. Then I'm going to bounce. Bounce, baby. All right, here we go. We got, I don't know how to pronounce that. Kansai, Remember This Night, Hemstock and Jennings remix, and original dub. This is Platypus Records. We're still on Platypus. I told you it'd be a Platypus Christmas. I wasn't lying. And then we have another artist. This is the same artist that we featured yesterday, but a different track. We got Mugwai. I like pronouncing it Mogwai because that was the name of the Native American Indian from Last of the Mohicans, right? Anyways, Mogwai, The Labyrinth, in part 1. And then we have Oliver Klein's Muteki remix of the track, The Labyrinth. So we got Mugwai's original mix, and then, so those are the tracks. We got the Remember This Night playing in the main room, and then in the underground, right? Down in the underground, we got Mogwai playing. Speaking of techno, I was just looking on Resident Advisor, looking at shows. I was thinking about going to a show just because I want to dance. I love dancing. You know what I mean? And so, you guys have to understand something about me. Like, I am not a serious person. Like, I am like a very jovial, laughing, like, let's have a good time, like, let's laugh and have a good time kind of person. But I'm not going to be able to be that person that I desperately want to get back to until some of this stuff is addressed. Do you see what I'm saying? And people just simply hanging up the phone on me, that's only going to work for so long for some of these people. You know what I mean? And if something happens to me right now, oh my goodness, where should we look? Oh, I don't know. At like the pastor and the elders at Creekside and Joshua's mother and father, maybe other members of his family as well. So like if something happens to me right now, boom, all this, there's validity to everything that I've been saying, right? Or look, this is the scary thing, man. They could just take me out, wipe this stuff off the internet, and nobody would ever know I existed. That's scary. That is scary. It's intimidating. But I have faith, man. I have faith that just the right person is going to hear what I'm saying. You know, and I don't know who that person is. I don't know when they're going to hear it. I don't even know what they're going to do or what we're going to do. But I know that I can't do all of this on my own. And at some point, some other people are going to have to get involved as well, you know? And look, I hope that person is you. You know, if you're not in the SS, I need you. Straight up. All right, we're going to go ahead and bounce. Feel free to message me, comment below. I'm going to try to upload this video to BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Right now, I'm only able to upload to Rumble. It's just insane, man. When I try to upload to BitChute, the page refreshes and it says that the website refreshed the page. So after I choose the video and it compresses it, BitChute, something is happening on the other side, and boom, I tried downloading a different browser. I tried updating my, it's not happening on my end. This is typical stuff. This is just typical day for me. I can't post on YouTube right now. One of my YouTube videos got taken down. I'm not able to post my last video on BitChute, and I finally got one video up on Rumble. This is how we're rolling, man. Just doing the best that I can. Doing the best that I can. My phone battery died while I was live on Twitch too, so that kind of sucks. I don't think that saves the video. I think it boots it. Whatever. All right, you guys. I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Please share my content. I hope you guys have a good Christmas, and don't forget about that list if you run into any, shape-shifting lizard people. Peace.